To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Okay, so I'm back at the tiny house build again today. So we got through the Christmas holiday. We got the materials so we can start working on the ceiling. Showed you this yesterday. And so today I'm going to start hanging our ceiling. Today is a very cold and wet, rainy, snow, sleet mixed thing going on. Like that, boy, and isn't that something else? That's kind of a dream come true out here in your little cabin with a nice little cabin fire in your stove, just dancing away, all those hot gases getting burned up there by the catalytic converter. It's so pretty to watch. I just get mesmerized. I sit in my little lawn chair and I watch this. So here we are in our little cabin with our little fire. I'm toasty warm. It's snowing outside. I tell you, a lot of people were very upset with me that over the summer I wasn't working on the tiny house. We were buying materials and people kept saying, you just need to go buy it, you just need to go buy it. And I had 1,000 reasons why we weren't buying the materials. Not excuses, legitimate reasons why we weren't doing any building throughout summer. We had the pandemic that shut my jobs down, so I didn't have any money to really go out and buy materials. And I wanted to get firewood. I needed to get firewood. I thought that was important, that I stay warm through this winter. And then I could work on the tiny house this winter. Well, I tell you, there is something on my side when it comes to living the tiny house off-grid lifestyle. When Carolyn and I were living nomadic lifestyle, it seemed no matter where we go, it was raining and cold everywhere. Summertime, we went to Florida in the winter in December and it got down into the 30s and froze and snowed in Florida. But here, when I couldn't do much work throughout the summer, it was really hot, which was perfect because I couldn't do anything anyways. And then when I needed to really start building the walls and everything, it kind of toned down. It was moderate temperatures. I mean, not horribly cold, not horribly hot. I mean, there were some days that it got cold and some days it got hot, but most of the time it was just mild temperatures. Well, now that I have to work on the inside of the house, it's just nasty outside. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's just nasty outside. And I'm inside with a nice toasty wood stove. I've got enough dried wood that I can keep it running for a little while. And I'm gonna hang the ceiling. I might get 2 or 3 sheets up today. I gotta do a lot of cutting. I made 2 hatches. I'm not sure you can see that. Yeah, maybe you can. So here you'll see a cut right here. Kind of goes around. That's a hatch. I have 2 of them where I can get up into the loft. I'm calling it a loft, not an attic, because it is a loft. It's going to be insulated on the roof and on the ceiling here. So it's going to be its own little apartment space, basically. It's not very big, but it's a nice storage loft. Now, somebody did ask me, have we insulated that yet? And we haven't. I'm not in a big hurry to insulate that. I'll insulate it before next winter. Right now, I just want to get where we can live in it this summer. Heat rises, cold air falls. So through the summer, when we're running the air conditioner, I'm more worried about this space down here. I'm not going to worry about that up there. It's going to be pretty hard to cool that up there. I'll insulate it right before winter time. I might do it during the summer if I can find a nice day where it's not too hot up there and insulate it. But my focus is spend money where we need to spend money. And insulation for the loft isn't that big of a priority right now. Besides that, I'm using R19 insulation, which is fairly good insulation. I mean, it could be a little thicker. I think you're supposed to be up to like R28 for your ceiling. So I'm not in terrible shape. And oh, last night it was just roasting hot in here. I mean, it's kind of warm now. I got the wood stove turned all the way down, opening the windows. I got 1 log in there, just burning away a little bit at a time. Another thing is we're under quite a bit of shade right here. That was kind of the idea. We got this huge oak tree. We got 3 of them right here. That kind of shades this entire building. A lot of people said, why don't we move the solar panels up here? Why don't we move the battery bank up here? Because all the sun is down there. You can see that it's all open field. You get up here, you wouldn't have enough sun to power the solar panels. So the building is 16 feet long by 12 feet wide. Now the inside of the building isn't that big. The outside is, but the inside's much smaller because we use 2x6s for the walls. So you got to subtract 6 inches here, well 5.5 inches, and 5 inches off the other side. So I mean, you're losing almost a foot. The panels are 2 feet by 8 feet. So if you do the math, it's going to take 6 panels to go across one time, and that's going to go out 8 feet. So that takes me about right here. And then I got another 6 panels that I got to go across 8 feet. The nice thing is they're going to overlap quite a bit. I really wanted that overlapping seam. They're going to overlap by a foot actually. So that overlap is going to keep me from having to do so much cutting and making sure that I line everything up with the rafters just perfect. Of course, we planned it this way, 16 by 12, because I'm in 4 feet by 8 feet sheets. Now, the metal roofing material outside, this is 2 feet wide. That stuff was 3 feet wide. So you always got to think ahead and know what your dimensions are. I made a mistake on this. I thought it was 3 feet. So when I went to Home Depot, I almost didn't buy enough. If I hadn't caught it, you know, when this was sitting in the cart next to a plywood, I realized, man, that is not 3 feet, that's 2 feet. So I went back over to the section and sure enough, it was 2 feet. So, okay, so I'm gonna get started. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screw in a couple screws right up here, not all the way in. And so what that's gonna help me do is hold it. I'll be able to slide the metal up into the screws, and then I'm coming down on the other side, pick it up and screw it in. Now, a lot of people said, oh no, you need to use a 2x4 to lift it up. I'm not a big fan of those. They fall over, they're a big mess. Now, that's not to say I won't use a 2x4 to help hold it up under the side that I'm at so I can screw it in. But over here, if it falls over, you know, then you gotta get off the step stool, you gotta come back over here, try to set it all up. Where the screws, that'll hold it up there pretty good. It's like little fingers coming out, and it just holds it up. So I've done this with drywall quite a bit in my past. Now, I'm not sure how well the metal material is going to work with the screws, because it does bounce around and bend a lot. So I may have to rethink this. However, this metal is so light, which is just a blessing. It's a lot lighter than the metal was outside. It's obvious this metal is different. It's a lot easier to screw into than the outside metal. This must be thinner, or I don't know, it's just different. This is a lot easier than the outside. Okay, so I kind of did this wrong. Technically, I should have started at the other side here, or turned the panel around, either way. This shorter piece right here, I know it's probably hard to see in the camera, is supposed to go on top of the longer piece. So it would have been a lot easier if I could have just taken the shorter piece, laid it right on top of the longer piece, right there. But I found doing it wrong actually works better when you're doing it by yourself, because now all I got to do is just slide it up underneath this one, and it helps hold it in place. So it's less holding. I don't have to move around and flop this one over here and hurry up and screw this. I can take my time, slide it in, come over here, slide it in on the other end. That was a happy mistake. Okay, so there's at least, almost half. We almost got half of it. But I stopped today because, like I said earlier, I'm not going to cut any pieces today. I didn't want to drag the generator up. So I got to cut around the hatch. So really I got one piece and a partial, and we've been talking about it. We'll just go ahead and lay 2 pieces up there. It'd be less cutting because I'd have to cut a whole full strip. We both got the material, there's no reason. And in the seams, what's neat is the seams really don't show up. I got one seam here for some reason that showed up a little bit, but the other seams didn't show up hardly at all. It's really turned out a lot nicer than I expected. So then tomorrow, like I said, I'll finish that side up. I'll get this side started. I don't know how far along I'll get. And I'll get over to here. I noticed that I've been procrastinating today. I think what it is I've made so many mistakes in this place. I almost freeze up, not from fear, just from, oh boy, I don't want to make a mistake and having to correct a mistake and have to think through a mistake. So what I notice I'm doing is I stop and I end up thinking, okay, what do I need to do to cut this and that and this, but it's coming along. This went actually a lot quicker than I thought it would. Carolyn got a little bit of trim put on today, and we've been working together on angles because she wanted to have an angle here like this, little 45. But the problem is these boards are so warped that it's impossible to get it all to line up. So instead, she's just going to put a board down like this and then run another board right into it. It won't be as fancy looking, but a lot easier. So I hope I can inspire you to find your little paradise in the snow. Thanks for watching.